Oh, you two settle down. You guys can settle down. Kitty's vying for a spot. Welcome to the next episode of Storytime with Stephanie. I think we're on chapter 16, but don't quote me. So, we're going to pick up at the end of 9th grade, where I didn't really have any schooling at all except a little biology. And I went into 10th grade and rejoined my peers, so to speak. And the next year was a very strange transition from one thing to another after things being so the same for so long, right? My environment was very controlled. At semester, after winning some elections, it kind of put me out there, and then I was in a talent competition, and that I won my category. So I was really out there, you know. And after being gone for a year, just disappearing, I mean, I was voted sophomore class president. My dad showed up for that, for when I did my speech to be elected. You're vibrating the whole bed, silly. If you're going to do that, get on the floor, okay? She can chew herself all she wants. It's just the bed's going like this, you know. I'm just like, stop. That wasn't a very good move, kitty cat. Or was I? Fur babies are distracting me. Oh, and then I was voted sophomore homecoming princess, which totally blew my mind. You had to be nominated for that. I was completely blown away. Did not see that one coming at all. And then at semester, we were at my violin teacher's house, which was in Idaho Falls. Normally I took classes from her at the college. But we had been making trips out. It was only like a half hour from where we lived. And there are certain violin concertos that just move me in a way that I can't explain. Playing the violin moves me in a way I can't explain. And my dad, my violin teacher, and myself all kind of had an epiphany at the same time that wouldn't it be a great idea for me to move in with her and her family. She only had one son who was still living with her and was in college. And her daughter came and stayed for a while. It was my first time away from my family. It actually happened. I lived with her family for a semester. There was supposed to be more intensive training, but that was when I learned how to skip class, smoke cigarettes, skip class get drunk at lunch and then come back to class. I mean, I kind of turned into a little hooligan. In fact, I didn't get a solo position because she knew I was partying and the person I was competing with for that solo position wasn't. He had his headphones on and was listening to what we were going to be playing, and he put in more effort, and she gave it to him, deservedly so. That was kind of a wake-up call, slap in the face, because I could play it. I was pretty upset. But I deserved it at the time. I did. I deserved it. But anyway, I digress. The point is that I moved back home at the end of semester and was almost immediately sent to my mother. It was a very short period of time. I can't remember if it was days or weeks, closer to days. The night before I was to leave was when I was told. And I wasn't allowed to call anybody and tell anyone. My best friend just happened to call, and I was able to tell her. But in the meantime, my father had a little rendezvous with me that evening. My stepmother and all the kids were gone. Can't tell you why. Maybe it's because they were preparing for me to be booted, you know. The kids weren't even told that I was leaving. Yeah. They had no idea where Cynthia had gone. She was already at my mom's. So, my dad came into my room, and this was the first time he approached me in this way when he knew I was awake, intentionally so. And the first thing he had me do was, he actually had me hold his penis, put it in my hand. Weird. And then he did his thing. He said he wanted to give me a gift before I left, and he performed oral sex on me while I was awake. And then my stepmother came home with all the kids. We heard her in the driveway, and that was it. I think that if she had not gotten home when she had, my father probably would have crossed that line. And thank God she came home and he didn't. Because that's a whole new level of what the fuck, right? And then sending me off into the next, we'll cover that in the next chapter where I landed. But in the meantime, I left with what I could carry, with a broken promise of being sent the rest of my belongings. But yeah, that kind of did enough to my brain as it is. I still sometimes don't even remember that. Yeah, sometimes I just don't even remember it.